Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on the Wild Rift. So today, as promised in our tier list video, we are back with a Zeri updated complete guide, of course, for the latest pack. But before we get into the details, don't forget to, of course, check out Zeri's basic guide for her skills, living order tips and tricks, as well as some combos that I'll put in the cards above right now. So, without further ado, let's now jump into explaining the build, runes, and spells. So, this build is pretty much the same as the previous one that I gave you guys in the last updated complete guide, but I still think it's very effective. Now the main reason for this is the two other builds you can go on Zeri are the Bloodthirster into Solari build, which then means you have to delay your Runans because Runans and Solari as second and third items are just not very good, giving so much attack speed but no attack damage. And the other one is a on hit build, which is a little bit more specialized when you're playing into a lot of tanks and things like that. So for a standard build, I think this is the best one to go. Going for Gluttonous Grease for the AD and Omnivamp. Then Shield Bow for the AD, as well as a little bit of attack speed. But most importantly, the Lifeline passive, which gives you a shield. Now, this Lifeline passive is really good in the early to mid game, but does fall off a little bit in the late game, which is why we're rushing it as a first item. Then we're gonna go for Runan's Hurricane as our second item. This is of course going to give us attack speed, a little bit of AD, a little bit on hit, but most importantly being able to attack 3 people at the same time and kind of circumventing the Zeri problem of only being able to attack the first target. So instead of just attacking the frontline tanks, you can actually attack the backline as well. So next up we're gonna go for Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster of course gives you a lot of AD as well as physical vamp and additional stats when you're high on health. So of course classic ADC item. Of course, normally you go for this first, but in this case, we're going for it third, mainly because obviously you don't want to be going for Shield Bow third or Runan's third, so it has to be BT. Last two items, kind of common sense. It's going to be more reminder for the Armor Pen and Grievous Wounds, as well as IE for the increased crit damage. And the order which you build this is kind of flexible, right? You could of course go for Maul Reminder first if they're tanky, but if they're not, you could go for IE for a bigger spike. And then next up we have the runes. Now for Zeri you don't actually need lethal tempo because you already have enough attack speed from, you know, Shield Bow combined with Hurricane combined with Alacrity. That's going to let you hit the attack speed cap already. So you don't need attack speed. What you rather have is going to be AD, right? Because bonus attack speed is going to get converted into AD anyway. So here we of course have Conqueror for the stacking AD and Omnivamp when you reach max stacks. You have Brutal because you auto attack a lot as in ADC. You of course have Giant Slayer to deal with the tanks, and of course you also have Alacrity just for that attack speed as I mentioned just now. And finally you also have Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities. Now for the summoner spells, you want to go for Flash, and I like to take Ghost if possible because Ghost obviously synergizes very well with Zeri's playstyle of having low range and then weaving in and out of fights. But if you need to take something like Cleanse or Exhaust or even Bury, you can of course go for that. For a little bit more information on summoner spells, you can check out the summoner spell guide that I made just a couple days ago. I'll put it up in the cards above. But with all that said, now let's move on to talking about the gameplay. Okay, so let's take a look at our gameplay, but before we do, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Of course, I will be sure to address them. And here we have the Zeri Yuumi combo. Now, as I mentioned in my tier list video, enchanters are basically the best supports to play right now. The Yuumis, the Lulus, and maybe even like, you know, the Melios, Sorakas, and Seraphines, you know, of the world. Really, really strong spot. Now, of course, I still think that Lulu and Yuumi are the best ADCs. It's not best ADCs, best supports for Zeri. Obviously, Zeri is a late game hyper carry that benefits a lot from having an enchanter to just protect her and buff her up. And of course, the best are those two. Yuumi, of course, gives you insane heal and help, and even helps you with your laning phase because you can trade very aggressively, and then Yuumi can heal you back up. A little bit like what Soraka does. And with Lulu, you get boost in damage, and you of course get a lot of extra peel. So here you can see I'm playing super aggressively. I have a full stack Conqueror. Yuumi has the E on me, and I'm just trading into the Janna while Janna is taking the control ward. Janna loses about half her health taking that control ward, but does get the level up Now we get the level up as well, slight sidestepping the tornado. You can see we're just blasting them into next week, and we're still basically at full health because the Yuumi is topping us up. Like, I'm not sure why the enemy team is trading against us so aggressively, but you can see they're both at half HP and I'm basically still at full HP. Even tanking some of the enemy minions there, because obviously Zeri has the problem of not being able to attack past minions, and sometimes you're just hitting the minions instead and just tanking minion damage instead of hitting champions. You can see here I'm back to the same strategy of blasting the enemy champions instead of the minions, because Janna, Vayne can't really do a lot against us. Look at the Janna's HP, she's dying. And Vayne is now going pretty aggressive. Now here, Vayne hits level 3, which actually surprises me. But eventually we are able to take out the Janna, and then eventually we're able to burst down the Vayne as well. But that was definitely a close one. Now Graves is coming in, we are 1 HP, we're running the opposite direction. And Yuumi's healing us up with the E. We go a little bit nearsighted, but we're proccing the heals. Yuumi detaches to block the Graves autos, and we're able to survive on 1 HP. So that was a pretty well played sequence by us. Once again, here we're actually not touching the minion wave because we actually wanted it to kind of stay outside of our tower, but we probably should have thinned it a bit because it's a little bit too huge right now, and it is going to crash, and we're probably going to lose a couple minions here, but I mean, we did just get 2 kills and survive against the Graves while we're 1 HP, so I guess not gonna complain about that too much. Small wave management error there. You can see we basically lost all of those minions, which is actually a lot, right? So our lead could have been even greater, but hey, you know, we're not gonna be greedy about it, although we do want to take note of that mistake for the future. But yeah, another mistake that we made was not realizing Vayne hit level 3. Like, the Vayne level 3 came so fast that I was surprised she had condemned. So I actually didn't expect to get condemned to the wall, although I did expect this one. I tried to eat out the way, but apparently I did it too slow. So anyways, we're actually now just running down the Janna, and we're trading very aggressively because Mordekaiser is here. So Mordekaiser does flash in with a double pull, gets both of them, ults the Vayne, so we can't KS him, I guess. And he does get the double kill there, giving us 2 assists. So we're off to a pretty dream start here. We have 2 kills and 2 assists, and now we're gonna go to work on the enemy's tower, just taking their fruit as well. I mean, they did pop our fruit as well, so then it's a fruit for fruit trade, and just taking out the minions. But we're not really gonna have time to work on the tower because we're taking too long to shove in, and they're off the reset already. They're coming back, as you guys can see, so we're not even gonna be able to get a plate. So instead, we're gonna get a reset for some components, and we're gonna head back to the lane. Now, as you guys can see, Yuumi of course does have the boots of lucidity, and this of course is amazing for the enchanter supports now, giving you the mana regen in addition to the cooldown. Janna has the same idea, she has those boots as well. So both of the supports now with the new itemization. We hit the W on both of them through the wall, which is pretty nice. Zeri W is not the easiest to hit, which is why going full AP Zeri with like Luden's kind of build is not very good because it's very hard to hit W. I say that, but I just hit another W onto the Vayne. Yeah. So here, Janna finally hits some knockups onto us. We're once again, I mean, we're so far in the lead, right? There's no reason to not trade aggressively. Here we're just gonna ult take out the Janna. Vayne knows that she can't fight us, so she actually just runs away straight away just to ensure she escapes with her life. And we're gonna using the AoE of the ult to just clear the minions as well. Veigar was trying to make a flank play, but ends up getting caught out himself. And now Yone is also on the way down with Graves in the area, so we're gonna back off. And in the end, Veigar comes here simply to take our fruit, I guess. So yeah, so we complete our shield bow. We are now going to head back over to the lane. Of course, we're not on a huge power spike. I mean, if we didn't want to fight before, we definitely want to fight now. Of course, the enemy bot lane collectively is 0 and 5. And we have our first item spike, whereas Vayne had to kind of itemize into Executioner's Calling because of the fact that there's a Yuumi, which is the correct thing to do. But that sets them even further behind, having to invest extra 800 gold into building that. So here, Mordekaiser is doing the dragon. We're just going to help him out a little bit. Graves should be on the Herald. Now, for some strange reason, the Janna and Vayne decide to come to contest. And they're already behind, so there's no reason for them to actually come here. And their jungler's not here either, so that was a very risky contest. We could have turned onto them, but we didn't. Or rather, we didn't really have the opportunity to be very honest, but yeah. So here I realized I'm actually clicking onto the wrong target. I was wondering why the minion button is showing up as showing up as not last hitting the minion, right? But actually it's because I'm actually in the replay tool. I'm actually on Yumi, but I guess since Yumi's on me, it doesn't really matter for now, right? Because Yumi and myself are together anyway. I thought I was missing every single last hit there. I was like, am I not getting these last hits? Turns out I was, but on the replay tool, I've clicked the wrong character. Anyways, regardless, we're 3-0-2. We're in a very good spot. Vayne struggling to get back into the game. We have over a 1,000 gold lead onto the Vayne. However, we have not yet damaged the tower all that much. So the next thing we want to try to do is to try to shove them out of the lane, or kill them for that matter, and then get the tower. So here we can see Graves in the top lane. Janna has been missing for a while now, so we know Graves is not here. And at worst, it's going to be a 2v2. Yone is also roaming top to make the Herald play. So here could be an opportunity to do something. The enemy team is pretty far extended. Maybe we can run them down. We get the slow onto the Vayne. We're trying to dash forward. Yumi pops the ulti, trying to slow them down. But unfortunately, the stun does not hit. Mordekaiser is now here, so we have a split map situation here. You have a 3v2 in top lane and a 3v2 in bot lane as well. Unfortunately, Graves picks up the tower. Now Mordekaiser is going all the way in onto the Vayne. And here we're continuing to run down the Vayne and the Janna. But it's coming to a point where they're copying so many deaths that their gold value is decreasing rapidly. And this means that it's getting less and less worth to actually keep on killing them, right? Because obviously, the more and more you kill them, the less and less gold you're going to get. And if they don't get a kill or an assist to reset their bounty, it just means that at some point, they're going to be worth like close to minions worth of gold. And at this point, they're slowly, being worth less and less. So now, we're going to rotate over to mid, seeing as we already got bot. Hopefully, Veigar rotates bot, although a lot of mid laners don't do that. I mean, Darius is not in the mid lane as well for some reason. I mean, there's no way we can make a play on Yone here. And since Veigar refuses to move, we are going to have to move instead, because we don't want to give away a free bot lane tower. So we're going to have to move instead. Here we go. And Vayne and Janna are actually rotating mid, so we're actually hovering back to mid here, because we don't want our team to be in an outnumbered fight, again, especially when we're the strong ones. Now here, we're catching out Janna and Vayne, popping the ulti. Janna with a pretty nice ulti, we flash in, kill the Janna. Now we're in a little bit too deep, but we do have the shield bow proc. However, Yone is able to hit the ult on us in the choke point, and we do eventually go down. So a little bit of an unfortunate situation there, but we are able to we were able to get 5 kills and 4 deaths, but we did end up giving away the shutdown, which is obviously not the best in the world. And probably playing a little bit too aggressive there. I think flashing forward there into like 4 people was insane. Although that was not what really killed us. What really killed us was actually the Yone hitting a beautiful ulti in the choke point. So yeah, definitely could have played a little bit more conservatively there, but we were just trying to push the limits, a little bit. So here, the camera is still on Yumi, unfortunately, but thankfully Yumi is now back on top of me, so we can still see what I'm doing. At some point, if I end up separating from Yumi, we may not be able to see what's going on because of my poor camera work while recording the replay. But here we get the red buff share from the Mordekaiser, and we're gonna once again defend our tower. Now Mordekaiser catches the Vayne out. We're just gonna hop over, pop the ulti, run down the Vayne. Vayne with the movement speed from the out, kiting out Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser needs to stop chasing, but Mordekaiser keeps on going and almost dies to the Vayne. Now we can see Yone is on the way. Mordekaiser's 1 HP as a result of his kiting. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the wave. And Mordekaiser is getting killed by Yone, does go down eventually. I'm stuck in the Veigar cage, but I'm free hitting while I'm in there. And without our jungler, we cannot do the dragon, so we're going to have to step away. Although the enemy jungler is on the opposite side of the map, right? But there's still no reason to flip 50-50, right? So we're not going to do that. In the meanwhile, now Sion is becoming a problem, right? He's already pushed the tier 2 in top lane. He's now pushing the tier 2 in mid lane. And he's split pushing, and no one is stopping him. And when I say no one, I really mean the Darius, right? Like, Darius is his enemy laner, so especially when Darius is a tank, right? Or like a bruiser at the very least, right? He's not like a squishy top laner, he's not a Teemo or something like that, who can be ignored, right? So he can actually stop Sion, because if Sion tries to push a tower when Darius is there, Darius can free stack on him and then ult him and kill him. Right, so he should not be allowed to push all these towers if Darius is putting a stop to him. But unfortunately, that's exactly what's happening, as the Veigar is stealing all of the farm I'm trying to get, right? So now we have to compete with Veigar for the farm, as you guys can see here. I am getting most of them, but of course we are on the Yuumi view, so it looks like I'm getting none of those minions. And you see, I'm going to the bot lane to farm, and Veigar's following me to the bot lane as well, which is really annoying. Thankfully, Veigar backs off and goes for the Krugs instead. Like, why are we all fighting for the same farm? There are 3 lanes to farm. So here, Sion has now made his appearance in the bottom lane. And here, one good thing about fighting people like Sion and Janna, who have shields but not the larger shields, like Lux and Seraphine have huge shields, but Janna and Sion have like those smaller shields. Actually, it really benefits Zeri, because Zeri can steal the shields and get movement speed from the shields. So that's actually really nice. And here we're of course now building towards Bloodthirster, right? We don't even have the most gold in the game, right? Sion has gotten more gold from split pushing, and Graves has more gold from power farming, which is just whack, right? And in the meanwhile, while Sion is split pushing, the enemy team is trying to take Baron, and we realize we gotta go in and we gotta put a stop to it. So we're gonna hop the wall, go in with the ulti, take out the Janna, and then Graves is now stuck in the pit. We're just going to take out the Graves, and now we are doing the Baron. We can probably get this Baron. Now, Vayne is trying to probably get into the area to steal, but decides against it, and we're able to one-shot the Baron. Yeah, so here we're just going to flash over the Yone, get the kill onto the Vayne, run after the Yone a little bit. Yone is going to blast plant out of the way, and we're able to honestly make a pretty nice play there, killing 3 people and securing the Baron for our team. Really huge for the game here. Now Sion is back to split pushing antics. He's taking down the bot tower now, and now we have to put a stop to him. We have to kill him because our team is being really useless and not taking care of him whatsoever. So we're gonna come over and kill him. Veigar, honestly, Veigar almost had it by himself, right? But he just didn't have the damage to finish the job, and obviously his spells are gonna be down. So that meant that this wasn't gonna happen. So at this point, the buff share is on everybody already, so we're just gonna not fight for the buff. We're gonna go for those raptors, and once again, I guess we're gonna have to fight Veigar for the farm. Although there's only 1 minion in this case, so not too much to fight for, I guess. Next wave is coming in, and yeah, here we go again. Anyways, here we have a Bloodthirster completed already, so we're in a 3-item spike. We're really strong now. And here Janna is getting caught, gets completely caught, one-shot by Veigar. Now Graves is chasing Mordekaiser, he's just flashed in. And he doesn't have flash, he has nowhere to run, gets exhausted by Yuumi, and is not even really a challenge. Don't even think Veigar needed to ult there, but obviously he just wanted to secure the kill for himself. So not too big of a surprise, I guess you could say. And here, I'm kind of like a bit torn on what to do, right? Because I need to kind of defend Sion, but at the same time, I don't want to waste this opportunity. I want to push, right? So, top lane still has all the towers up. Darius is pushing in the top lane. I'm pushing in the mid lane just to apply a little bit of pressure. But since I can't really push in mid lane too deep with still multiple enemies alive, I'm just going to focus on counter jungling instead. Checking if the enemy red buff is up, which it is not. And enemy team has spotted us, so I'm not gonna go too much further in, because normally when they can see you and they see you walking in, they're all gonna collapse on you, so we're not gonna do that. Darius did try to do that though, and gets out with it, safe. But here we're actually going to start building towards more Reminder. And the reason why that's the case is because one of the people we have to kind of deal with is Sion, and Sion is gonna get pretty tanky. He honestly actually he has 3 health items and no armor items aside from the boots, right? So anyways, you can see here we're just gonna blast Sion. Sion ends up going down, and thankfully there are no objectives up at the moment, so this is not a very huge problem because he's not really distracting my team from anything important, right? So it's still all right, for now. But if there's ever any objectives up, that could be kind of a little bit of an issue. So here we're starting out the dragon. Mordekaiser is in the area. Graves was last seen pushing mid, so he could be making his way here, but for now he's not yet here. So here, we're gonna leave the dragon with Mordekaiser because Vayne is trying to run down the Darius, and we can hop over the wall and try to put a stop to her. Yuumi ults and forces Vayne's flash, which is of course a very important cooldown. So Vayne now no summon spells. Huge fight is now breaking out here. We pop the ult, we get rid of the Graves first, and then we're gonna move on to the rest of them. Vayne hits the condemn onto us. We try to dash out of the way, and we actually are able to flash and kill the Vayne. But we get a little bit ditched by Yuumi, so yeah, we're not gonna survive without the Yuumi heals and shields at such a low HP. Although I wouldn't say that's a horrible decision by the Yuumi, because I think we were gonna die. I think we were gonna die if Yuumi was on us and she didn't have W anyway, so then it would be another free kill for the enemy. So in this case, Yuumi is able to escape instead. And here, once again, Sion is trying to push but gets caught and dies. So thankfully my team is finally able to kind of deal with the Sion. Sion is 0, 3, and 0. But if you look at the goal, he, aside from me, he has the second most goal in the game, right? So he's just been taking every single tower and he's just becoming a split push menace. This is why I rank Sion really highly on my tier list, because I feel that this is the way Sion is meant to be played, right? If you play Sion as a split pusher and not like a frontline tank, I think he's way more effective because he just forces people to come and deal with him. And I haven't seen people play Sion in this way in a quite long time, to be very honest. So here, Darius going in a little bit deep. Mordekaiser going in as well, finally gets the kill. I'm wondering if I'm ever going to switch the camera to myself, because I'm not really seeing what Zeri is doing right now. Let's take a look here. We're now doing the Baron. Camera's still on Yuumi, but thankfully Yuumi hops back onto me. So we actually haven't really missed any action just because Yuumi is normally with us for the most part. And then we're going to hop over, deal with these minions. And yeah, so Sion is doing the rounds with his ultimate. I'm going to switch over to Armor Boots at this point because the whole enemy team is AD, right? So Armor Boots, huge value here, and we're going to get a QSS as well. Because in this case, we don't have Cleanse, we have Ghost. So the main thing we're going to QSS is mainly going to be like if we get caught by Yone ult or Vayne Condemn, things like that. Elder Dragon's now up. Sion is on the opposite side of the map, split pushing as he should be. The enemy team is not really in position to contest 4v5. Veigar Cage goes in. Graves gets caught, and it's pretty much going to be a free Elder at this point. Honestly, I don't even need the Elder to kill people because of how fed I am, so I'm actually just chasing even without the Elder. Flash goes over from Darius. We get a double kill. Here I actually saw Vayne recalling under the tower. We tried to go under the tower to stop her, but unfortunately she's able to complete the recall. However, we do have a wave in bot, so we can push in this wave into the tower and pick up this tower. And then into the inhibs as well. Mid inhib also exposed. Now I don't know why everybody came bot to push bot inhib, because we could have pushed both inhibs at the same time. And because of this very awkward deployment from my team, I'm gonna have to now go mid and push mid inhib by myself. And with my team, I guess, I don't know, picking a fight in top lane. Eventually we are able to pick up this top lane inhib though, so eventually we are we're all good. Getting both inhibs will make it a lot harder for Sion to split push. And here the respawns are all coming through, right? But I'm still really fed. I think that I can actually take people down if they get too close to me. So I'm not overly scared. Here I managed to QSS the ulti of the Yone, and here I'm now just going to town, having to flash forward here, just getting a triple kill. Sion now running away. I'm not even going to bother with the Quadra. I'm just going to go ahead and end the game, as you guys can see here. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.